say young cultural social media and so Facebook say and there's our brand and you see the me be coming I didn't some picture so I saw my picture there so in the early no person chess and no oh but no be mute me na say so my ready me well prepared na say we know ne uni shake on today this year first no na you bought Chelsea you bought Manchester United me say Chelsea any ball bossy United now see oh coffee share table no so who table no do you have the table? I do. You have the table. Check the table for me. Don't forget. For no game, but one new. What's that? Was it only? Manchester for now. Can we have some more? More game and no more. Now that time, Nana, you catch us. You say, "Nay, you need standing match, Nana." Say that Chelsea is a standing match. But to say I don't know fact. But we are standing match. Can was him and when him and can call for. Because Saturday me be say no so United ni. Ayala ba onu din ko ka say mo match no be she. O si o ye be she. You see? Maybe they are United ni because you be meow. But all about the United ni. Oh, you've been muted. I told you. You've been muted. And Bompa is a match Chelsea because which Manchester United team no enye. And then over against a very difficult Oliver Glasner Crystal Palace side. But yeah, my mini Chelsea for no come on. Which Chelsea share 5-0 in a London derby. It was always going to be difficult. Because not games at Chelsea about before West Ham United match when our teams are no much space for Chelsea to exploit in between the lines. Now they were going to play one of the most bullish, aggressive, low block managers in David Moyes. And we'll be hearing him say David Moyes airborne a ball now 4-5-1, sometimes 4-4-2 mid block. No, I used to Mikel Antonio as the hold-up player, then Odi Gerard Bowen and then Mohamed Kudus to pick up the pieces on the half turn. No Akato on a counter attack. Very, very important way of play. Now that has been the bane of Chelsea throughout the season. Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest, all of these teams on magic points every Chelsea won. Chelsea could not deal with a counter attack. And that is why Mauricio Pochettino, in my opinion, it has taken him about 35 weeks. Because maybe we in preseason. Say now we inverted Marco Crea. But so here Chelsea started season. It was Leverkusen and as left back. Then Benjamin Chilwell as a left winger. It was something that you tactically. Maybe he wanted a base for the rest defense. But in the second half of Aston Villa, we'll go back to Adianoye in preseason, inverting Marco Crea to give a base on Fiifi on him. Senegal without the ball, say Mohamed Kudus FA ball and I say Bo and FA ball now, they can be very aggressive and close them down, win those balls and then play for it. And Yebisa Mauricio Pochettino say Ebani say na deal we watching almost game week 35 yeah baby season and this was the response of Mauricio Pochettino. Or say to evolve tactically, you first of all need to fix problems. You can't evolve tactically if you are not competitive. If you don't have legs to move or be aggressive, you always need to build the house step by step. I think now we are in a moment where the team have realized that to compete in a different form to play football, they have had to understand how we need to compete in the Premier League. Obviously, for a young team, you need to set and apply the principles. After that, we have the capacity and experience to evolve in different ways in the game because we have the different learned a lot about how to compete and you can see the different situation. No, we don't say. Must say the ultimate king kind of say yeah, and just so bragging mode activated. Tell me to be I said, yeah, some moment can we be? Yeah, can't be. Yes, someone. Say some hearts and I share me. Who just before platform? I didn't see them. Come on. I'm at the point because Mauricio Pochettino. It's high time, woman and call and then there's one. And you have to be fair to me. As some of the kind of say, Obi waiting and one more channel. Ebe Kase Pochettino. And you could understand every just fun, including you, Fifi. Mancasi and Sacrin. Me see anything no more see and Sacrin or Cassie and Sacrin. You can agree with them. Mancasi and Sacrin. After Arsenal game, Asema kind of tactical body, and I will say, Asema kind of say, baby, I Chelsea and Kikakon. Who, Fifi. Who say, oh, Debbie, Mauricio Pochettino is not the man. No. Going to be your project. Enti mpanimfo no man nkono m kope kodu. Anyo na okan.
One ebi anyamia otini papa fra no. Anyamia because me media.
There's only them. Sometimes those program you streaming live of Facebook. But also me and Kasa me share use my phone.
No, but 8
now Kasa say me am.
Say that me Gabi Kotie. Gabi kwa na point is Kofi say na kan.
Gabi Tram.
Me
Chelsea.
Oh, but see me me kan. For 8 months.
That video has been doctored.
Dr. Beya. For 8 months. But the thing there, you want to try. Wait, I think that can be just 1 minute.
Yeah.
You see, for me.
But on the more serious note, Chelsea.
It was a good game, yeah. Who's the Sadia now Poch, yeah, Abua team. And again, I think Saku Kreda at the end was good for the defensive side of the job. But Bo Nankasani goes near Sheno. It was from the rotations from left and right hand side on him. Also Boko Palmer as a 10. But Noni Madueke was playing as a winger, as a number 7 on the right hand side. Then Abrante friend Nathaniel Chaloba was playing as a right back. But she goes not Chelsea share. First goal, right hand side. Boniko Noni Madueke on ma. There is a rotation from Chaloba. Second goal, Nebabeka, my friend is saying Conor Gallagher again from that zone. Then in the second half, go na Noni Madueke Ebo Sheyeno. It was from Nathaniel Chaloba from the right hand side, splitting a pass between the outside fullback of Torian Mospe and then the centre back. That is Ogbonna and Sufal. So it was clear that the rotations were good. And then in Kofu Ibrahima could create an inverted play. But the key thing that got Chelsea a lot of the goals was the rotations on that right hand side. And I saw that a lot at the beginning. Time that Chris James or Chelsea games going on now. Look out for those rotations on the right hand side. And they're important. Rich Midisi. Some at Chelsea were big problems. So what to say? I see Chelsea are making first contact to Napoli for Victor Osimhen, trying to swap Lukaku to go to Napoli and try and get him. Now, only Chelsea, but I'm asking only Chelsea for you now. Bona Jackson, do you still need somebody like Osimhen up front? Because Jackson said 13 goals in the Premier League this season. Drogba first season was about I think 10 or 11. Crespo Munia that didn't meet these numbers. Before him, it was Diego Costa and I said 20. So is it advisable to get a striker in the fold of Nicolas Jackson? And you better delve into it, but we ain't it home. Another thing that Chelsea here a centre back, full and forward centre back be Adrebayo. Chelsea for starting any team come and they're starting to look at him. There is also another centre back from I think Kilman from Wolverhampton Wanderers at Chelsea for also as starting said they could get him to come on board. There is a need for a centre back. I don't think it's a striking position. Change Chelsea and Osimhen. Maybe another profile or slightly different from Abrante friend Nicolas Jackson. Then they build up from there. Then the next 2 questions, no, say saying that Chelsea be running transfer window. She can't be free because financially Chelsea are not in the best place. Esa Oton Lukaku, Esa Oton Ziyech, Esa Oton Kepa Arrizabalaga. On se Kepa Yemasho. Kepa is with Madrid. Ankoye. Ian Matheson, Dortmund for no penno, but 35 million. Ebi omuntimintia. Harvey Hall, Nisik Vale, Nisika Nebeba Hall for Newcastle, Nisika Nebeba. Messi Manti can be reflected this year. All of these things, vis-a-vis Conor Gallagher, any Nathaniel Cholobo, Bobo, no betting this kind of band 10. Which of these players has Chelsea tongue to get enough money to go into the transfer market? I think that's where I end. And Yami Adma will analyze those things as the transfer window draws to a close.
Okay.
But in idea, you've been muted.
Alright, only me and then my mom just having so.
Yeah, yes, also Baba. I will tell.
On be David top.
Aye. That's a Chelsea ball match. And Sisia, Niawa Chelsea phone it's a Chelsea ball match. Biana. Anko Yans on my a queer no ba.
Okay.
Oh, what a shame now, Becky. You need to say that right. If you see a back, we'll see how it goes. It's be a cover.
But some game Kitwawi.
And it's Kitwao.
Oh, Massa.
West Ham Kitwao. West Ham Arsenal.
West Ham Arsenal.
I am also share Arsenal anyway. Into West Ham, Mohamed Kudus or Jinabo Moshe goes. Kukura Marine man Tibia Yam cry. It was a good one. But today, they're starting here. Madrid the Spanish La Liga, which is a very, very important happening over the weekend. And I think that for Barcelona folding in now, their bigger goal was to prevent Eka lose to Girona. Bomgoko Lusu, but that margin to Girona was always going to be a big deal. And at Madrid, Jumano simple, making just almost check Cadiz and then winning the Spanish La Liga. Very, very important milestone. And I think that sets the tone for Nyamia Adoma midweek on a big game on Babelbo. The return leg or the Santiago Bernabeu. I mean, a is huge. Say Omaje the Spanish La Liga. No matter what FC Bayern Munich. No matter qualify to the final of the Champions League. The week after we saw the Spanish La Liga, a very, very big thing for Fiifi-Manfred FC Real Madrid. So that's definitely what they will be gearing towards. Now, away from Madrid, Spain, any of the other leagues now or Europe, because of course, you know say leagues no ban every for Italy, you who the winner. For Germany, you know say Bayern Leverkusen. The only thing is for Bayern for Leverkusen, Omuche see a new record of 49 games unbeaten. Now Benfica Nikita the 48th record unbeaten in Europe. And the funny thing is a record a post-war time a World War now football started being a long-lasting record of 49 games are the big game but also in Europe against another top European ancient team in FC Roma. And so when you talk about Roma, the eternal city of Roma, it's known for big wars, winning no more. Into sa historical antithesis is around sa match we and so Leverkusen to me overcome Roma. Then it means so made my break another record. A very long. It's not meaning say we could get to May. Not the best team in Europe will be playing in the Europa League and in German Bundesliga. That's the magnitude of a Juma Xavier Lozai. Say in May, then the bigger job is being done by Xavier Alonso in the Bio for Leverkusen team Europa League, you know. So there is a possibility somebody to me a breaking record and then go and win a treble unbeaten. Who's the dear people Kalne is there? They've already won the German Bundesliga. Then there is the Europa League. I mean, whichever way I better describe it, that treble. If it's an unbeaten treble, it's a big one in the history of Germany. So we want to see then to the run in. Mathematically, Liverpool are not out. And Omar affirms our statements with the win against Tottenham Hotspur. And I'll start with Tottenham Hotspur. Which you're about 10 games now. Now Tottenham were one of the best teams in the English Premier League. And I think that rightly so. We sang a lot of good songs about Ange Postecoglou, coach. Any day we are not all inventing how he wants to play. But for me, in my opinion, sometimes not say we are too fixated in a particular way of player. We are too stubborn as a manager. It prevents you from getting even the best out of your players. And I think that for Ange Postecoglou, in the last few weeks of the English Premier League, he has gotten to the point where so Timmy Tuki Bibi Kakra. Inverting the two fullbacks, especially since we said Destiny Dojiepra, now but MSM Royal, who invert you on who invert Pedro Porro, doesn't give the team the kind of solidity Albania on Fiifi-Manfred. And I think that's affecting Tottenham Hotspur. When we catch you in the pre-match and say it was going to be transition versus also running of the channels using Darwin Nunez, sending Chelsea new boy and also from set pieces. Liverpool let me share the penultimate game for Jurgen Klopp at Anfield. And you could tell, say, no, you're relieved. He wanted to get that win. Then the two big teams, which Manchester City have showed us again and again. Wolves, team no burn. Wolves are sure first round. They were the only team to have been beating them away at Molineux. And it was a very, very good Wolves team. Omoko, Sagemo, Etihad, they were near perfect. And Erling Haaland, every event in the whole area announcing the whole area, see, I say, for the Golden Boot, Cole Palmer may be playing well and doing a lot of things for Chelsea. But say you're Pobi or you're prolific or you're Pobi or you're killer in front of post. Now only a conversation there, he is Erling Haaland. Scoring 4 goals for the very first time for Manchester City. We see a lot of hat-tricks, but this time 4 was a very, very important one for our branch here friend Cole Palmer for Erling Brut Haaland. Now only goals no for Manchester City. For Wolves, so we are the mercy of Manchester City on. Ope Bibiaji at the Etihad. And you are the papa. If Man City Pep Guardiola want to win something at the Etihad, almost a bull fear, and you are the mercy, it's not good. And only idea Wolves if one FAC, especially without sending more managers any touchline, it was always going to be an uphill task for them. Rich. City G League now are 4 times in a row. See, Pep, I'm an English Premier League, somewhat easy to win. And I think say one day Pep will wake up and decide to exit the English Premier League. Now record a better for other managers to come and beat will be too much. Which 4 times in a row. Unprecedented. On one set, 3 times in a row. No? A breaking points record. A breaking number of goals record. Eba Bayano 3. Eba Bayano 4 in a row. That is huge for Manchester City. And no more board. They are one step there. Manchester City were tricky games on the way to Tottenham Hotspur. After Tottenham Hotspur, on the ball, I think West Ham United. Very, very tricky games in a run up to a league title. No? And I know all the games on morning were in London. West Ham United, then Tottenham Hotspur, the one other team in London. I'm going to decide this game. Then Arsenal, of course. Now me believe he said Bournemouth game very difficult for them. But every difficult game the Arsenal have this season, they found a way to win it. I know that the bigger conversation around Arsenal now is a penalty from Kai Havertz. And for me, you see, born here, and your morality contest. Nobody tells Kai Havertz say goalkeeper no head in the 9 bar and found 9 pm. No. Football is about getting an advantage. So immediately goalkeeper no man had the option to get an advantage and make the most of the situation. You know, he was always going to drag his feet, and on dragging the feet, the penalty was there and on fire. You see, because Ocean from a moral point of view,
that wasn't a penalty.
You know, how wasn't it a penalty?
Ocean a penalty.
A penalty.
How
was there contact?
Born out contact.
You're not contact. Contact induced.
Contact not dragging in the leg.
But the night can't.
The
Richard, the night can't. But I want the game. Or dragging the line, but the night can't. Dragging a problem, no. Dragging and or inducing contact, no. But maybe they are on a morality conversation, and it is up to the referees. And how do you even ascertain? Say Ampampa or dragging? It's just a video.
That is why cameras know.
No, but Oka said.
Who said the use of the camera?
No, but goalkeeper and 9 was it there or not?
Was there?
So
but I cannot.
Oh, you see, it's a penalty. I cannot.
How?
Oh, but we video now, man.
In video, no.
Oh, I can't. I can't. Even with slow, I can't. It was clear, but now kind of dragging the feet. And Arsenal winning match, and a very important match for Arsenal to win. Then to OCA, Pochettino and the boys, about big game now. You see,
and also you mute this man.